We believe that confidence comes from clarity, and clarity comes from learning how to navigate challenges. And so in this video, I'm talking to professionals, adults, about the biggest challenges that we face: criticism. Whether you are an entrepreneur, a freelancer, a working person in the 9-to-5, or you're just trying to improve, knowing how to handle criticism can be a huge point of leverage for your growth. When somebody tells you something is wrong, some part of you is wrong, something that you did is wrong, how the heck do you make it right? You have some options. You could shut down, you could coil up into a ball and go into the fetal position, or you could be really sad, get in under the covers. You could do a lot of things. You could be really angry, blow up, the classic move of flipping the table. You could do all of that, but it's not recommended. The opportune way to respond is the response that helps you. The response that helps you, the person receiving the criticism, to then shift it, turn it into something spectacular, something amazing that can help you to be a better version of yourself. So how do you turn that challenge into an opportunity? That's a big part of what I do as an educator and a founder. And so in this video, we're breaking down the science, the psychology, the education, and practical steps behind responding to criticism and constructive feedback. Feel free to follow along and comment, like, subscribe as we go into the video. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the neuroscience of it. So our brains are literally wired to focus on problems. This is an evolutionary trait that we developed because we needed to develop it. And so it serves a purpose, a big purpose, which is keeping us alive. It can be very powerful if we use it well, if we use it wisely. So instead of just falling into self-doubt and letting it, crush you, which can happen really easily, we can reframe the criticism as an opportunity for us to grow stronger. And so this is kind of going into the education world of a strengths-based approach as opposed to a deficits-based approach. Deficit-based is commonly used in traditional education, or at least was for a very long time. Focuses on the problems, focuses on what you don't have, what you're deficient in. Whereas strengths-based focuses on how is this a strength for you? How does this help you to be stronger? Whatever the trait may be, even if it's something like behaving badly, what part of this is a signal of something that's good? Strengths-based approach works better for learning and growing because it is more motivating to work on something that you're already good at, and that it's more, that depends on the person of course, but it tends to be more motivating for a person, more accessible for a person to work on that which they are already good at, and really cutting out the stuff that they're not good at, or delegating the stuff that they're not good at. Don't waste too much of your time on what you're just not, you don't have a propensity for. You don't have a natural God gift talent for something, so don't push it. If you're really interested in something, if you're really passionate in something, that probably means that the talent might be just dormant. It might be asleep and you have to wake it up. But if you're neither interested nor are you good at the thing, then for goodness sake, why are you still trying? Let's also be clear about something else, right? So I'm talking about turning a challenge into an opportunity. I'm talking about turning sadness and anger and other kinds of emotional responses into action and improvement. However, if you're sick, if your identity is marginalized, if you're poor, if you're just going through a tough time, poor or broke, I should say, poor or broke. Not everybody identifies as poor, not everybody identifies as broke. So you could be one, you could be the other, you could be both. Point is, criticism can be very overwhelming, and sometimes the best thing we can do about that is just tuck it away, pin it for another time when we can deal with it. I want to be very clear that there are times to just be. You don't constantly have to be going after a goal. You don't constantly have to be going after empowerment. There are plenty of times when you just need to rest and be whoever you are. Compassion is incredibly important, and that's a big part of When it is important to use it is when we're faltering, or when we're not able to take all the advantages, and make the most of every moment. Have compassion in those times. And the other thing about that is you're not supposed to be perfect. You're not perfect. You're supposed to improve at a pace that works for you. And Off the Beaten Path Learning is largely about that. Off the Beaten Path Learning is a company where we guide you to your goals, yes, but more importantly, you're going at your own pace. You're going on your own path. So if you're curious about one-on-one or group coaching, please reach out. The link is in the description. We would love to help you, as we love helping all of our learners and clients. Okay, so what we just went through was section 1, which is why is it important? In this section 2, we're talking about how. How does this transformation from challenge to opportunity actually happen? So I'm going to tell a quick story. A client recently told me, this is a professional, he's an educator, he's based in Australia. He recently told me in between, so we had 4 meetings scheduled. At meeting 2, at the end of meeting 2, or at the beginning of meeting 3, he says to me, I don't really see the value in what we're doing, and I'm not sure I want to continue. Now, I could have gotten defensive, right? I could have gotten despondent. I could have just quit and given up, but I didn't. I heard him. I really heard him. And I realized that what he was talking about were services that we do offer, that we can offer, that we just had not spoken about. And so I took that criticism. It was criticism. He said verbatim, I don't see the value in what we're doing. And so I took that and I responded to it and said, oh, well, we can do this so that you can get the value, right? The value that is customized and personalized to your needs. And so they stayed, they did continue, they continued and they were like, oh, I didn't realize we could do that. And instead of just justifying or, making sense of it or trying to defend it or whatever, I showed a clear pathway forward for what they were looking for. And in the end, not only did they stay, but they got so much out of it. The coaching we did was around courage, building up courage. They got so much out of it that at the end they said it was healing, which isn't even something I really say that we do, but multiple clients have said this work is really healing. So now that was a story. So how do you do it? How do you shift your perspective? Step 1, acknowledge the bad. Look at the shit, look at it directly. Listen and really listen. Hear the parts and analyze it. Why is it bad? What parts of it are bad? The goal is to understand. This is very important. The goal is to understand, not react. Once you've looked at it, acknowledged it, heard it, really understood it, then devise the good and act on it, right? Create a solution. Immediately create a solution, or if you need to think about it, create a solution. And then step 3 is go one step further. Because when there's a criticism, when there's a negative, it means that there's this debt, this hole. And so going to baseline is meh, it's good enough. Go one step further, do one more, right? Make it really right. Because it's not good enough to just right the wrong. You want to make it really, really, really right to the point where they're overly satisfied. Criticism is not the enemy. It is your opportunity. It is your friend. Use it.